2021. As usual, it has been a very long week, and a lot has happened since last week. Of course, major topical issues on the show. We shall be delving into the chaotic, just concluded NRM primaries. We have seen a lot playing out in that very chaotic NRM primaries. Ministers arrested. Some of the MPs are still waiting for the outcomes of the elections. Up to now, they have not been announced. And chaos is playing out in the different parts of the country. We shall also be looking at the Uganda People's Congress, what is playing out there after the Court of Appeal ruling, pointing to the fact that the current leadership there is illegal. We shall also be going to the Electoral Commission, seeing how prepared they are in the run-up to the 2021 elections, following what played out in the NRM primaries, which claim to be the mass party, because what happens in the NRM has serious effect on the bigger picture of the 2021 elections. And also, we shall be also getting to Honorable Odongoto, who is also in the House. He has been keeping quiet, tight-lipped, to mention which political party is he going to come under in the 2021 elections. What we understand, he has left the FDC, but he's still tight-lipped. Why the cold feet? We shall also be delving into those issues, and also we shall be also looking at issues in Buyaga East, where Honorable Eric Musana is still complaining. Up to now, it's 1 week down the road, his results have not been announced. He has not been declared the winner, much as he's carrying here some document to show that he was the winner, but we don't know why Tangodo is still keeping quiet over that matter. So, the panel that I have before you on the extreme end of the desk, I have the UPC Secretary General, Honorable Fred Ebil. Next to him is the spokesperson of the Electoral Commission, acting, Paul Bukenya. And next to Paul, he is Honorable Odonga Oto, the MP of Aru County. And also here, next to me is Honorable Eric Musana, the MP for Buyaga East County. Guys, thanks for joining me on the show.
Thank you.
Well, I will start with the chaos in the NRM primaries. And next to me is a victim who up now, he has not been announced. Well, we do understand that I've seen several people we saw the Minister for Labor, Mwesigwa Rugutana, being arrested. We saw several chaos happen in Mbale. Now we do understand that you are also one of the victims who are still claiming victory, but that victory has not been announced. What's not going on? What happened, in other words?
Well, thank you, Timothy and other viewers. Of course, we are looking at democracy building on. The party that I support and I belong to, the NRM, had organized very well primaries at the parliamentary, and tomorrow we are also having primaries at the district and their councillors, and thereafter we shall have elections.
But they cannot be well-organized primaries when registers are reading something different.
Because it's like this, there was a mess up in the preparations where the chairman of the party said that whoever is a member of the party and is in the village or in this cell should be given an opportunity to vote. So the creation of a register on a voting day created more chaos. Organizing elections where we do not have a register caused a lot of chaos. And of course we have the big wigs within the party who also think that they must be the winners, they must influence the processes, That's why we are having such situations. For the case of my constituency, which I understand it most, we saw people coming in to stand, and these people are saying, have been sent by the president. They have been anointed by the First Lady. They have been sent by the big people in the government. Much as they came, and the local person, the voter, this member at the village level, so they said, no, much as you are saying this is not true. And the people voted, and they voted all of us. So we found out a number of issues within the party. Of course, we also saw in villages inflating members.
So what has the Secretary General, the electoral chair, the electoral commission of the NRM telling you? Because it's 1 week down the road, your victory has not been announced. You claim that there is somebody, your political rival was telling people that was sent by the president, has blessings from the First Lady, so on and so forth. What is Mr. Tangodo saying?
No, we have met the deputy chairperson of the Electoral Commission, and he has spent all this time. Of course, they've been very busy moving in different regions, and of late they have accepted and that all politicians, we were 8 in number, we should bring our DRA forms, these declaration forms. Each one collected his. And in my constituency, I have 369 villages. So I have collected them. And the other candidates, I hope they also have them. They are also going to bring them. So they are going to have the official declaration forms in addition to the candidates' declaration forms. Then you are going to see what comes out. So
okay, at that point, Honorable Odongo Tawo, reasoning from outside the NRM box, we do understand that I have heard from different people within Parliament saying that actually they put the entire chaos within the NRM primaries on the chairman, the national chairman of the party, having went out of his way and said that even those people who are not in the voter registers of the party, so long as they can be recognized by members of the community that their NRM supporters should vote. How do you scan through that?
I think some of those violence and fighting the scenes during the NRM primary elections, we should appeal to you TV stations to put a rider that violence and strong language. Because when our children home watch people fighting, it's a very big embarrassment. And this is the party in power. It's bad to see members of parliament, some assaulting, fighting, throwing the others down, tear gas being used, to see ministers drawing guns. All these are members of the same ruling party. I think there is what we call in political science presidentialism. The president wields too much power. One day to elections, he declares that anyone can vote. I think that was a blunder, because like in Aru County, all the opposition went and chose who should contest against me. It was God-given. We were very happy by 7, all the FDC were lining up. So we had to determine who should contest. But that aside, even in the actual electoral commission, the Uganda Electoral Commission, the Uganda Independent Electoral Commission, the president changed the electoral commissioners during the election process. Because the election process does not begin with nomination. It begins with voter registration, update, all those issues. And during the election, the president changes the electoral commissioners. The recorders are out. It's like halfway in 40th minute, an Arsenal player is determining who should be the referee, who should be the umpire. So what we did in the NRM primaries is also the same thing they're doing to the National Electoral Commission. So this is a very bad phenomenon that we don't blame the EC, but we blame ourselves as Parliament. We need to start thinking of another body to appoint electoral commissioners. to appoint judges, because if President Museveni is appointing a commissioner during elections, then it is obvious.
But Honorable Dongoto, when you say that Parliament should be blamed, or you, the MP, should be blamed, indeed. But you were given the opportunity during the amendment of the electoral laws. And what you could only do was only to amend, to add onto the Electoral Commission the word independent. But you left the entire powers to appoint the commissioners and the chairman of the Electoral Commission with the president. Wasn't that an anomaly?
You see, this parliament is predominantly NRM. Even yesterday, the president has just sworn the Chief Justice. So in case there is any electoral appeal, the person who was sworn in yesterday in the presence of the president is the one to preside over the whole process. So all I'm trying to say, the oncoming electoral process is not fair. The ground is not level. The player is holding a red card. The player is holding the key to the bus. The player is holding all the funds. One of the players has the key to Luzera prison. So it is not a fair election. So when I say on other TVs that President Museveni is going to have a win, many people don't understand, but these are all indicators. So this parliament is not of help. And for me, I'm very happy that the NRM MPs lost elections. And I'm very happy that what has happened to you is still happening to you. Because we told you in parliament, that we should not lift age limits. No one listened to us. These people went and picked money, 500 million shillings per MP. And they were saying, you give us all the money because the voters will not bring us back.
Now
so now they are out. Why are you crying?
They are paying
you have been paid.
You are paying for their sins.
You are paying for your sins. Actually, I wanted all of them to pay.
So
you should not cry.
Is that correct?
Honorable Charlie, I would like to know from you, what does this imply? One, on the internal democracy within the party. Are you stakeholders within the NRM, or you are just followers?
No, we are members of the party. We are members of the party, but of course the party has leadership. So there are people giving us leadership. The challenges are the chairman of the party may be having too much powers, where the member may not have freedom to make any adjustment. For example, where the chairman of the party says tomorrow be the secretary general and become the secretary general. So there are issues within our constitution that need to be attended to, that also need to be revised.
Now, can we know from you what next for you?
So,
are you coming as an independent MP?
No, I'm waiting.
Are you going to petition the party's electoral commission?
I'm waiting for the declaration of results. Thereafter, then we can sit down and say we're out.
What's the worst case scenario?
For this matter, I'm going to be declared the winner.
In the worst case scenario, what are you going to do?
Next is to get justice. So there are two forms of getting justice.
Are you saying that you are going to drag your party to court?
Justice in court. Next is to the people, the voter. So I can go to the voter, I can go to court. There are two options.
You are left with only 20 days. The time frame given by your party may not be favorable to you. Well, can I hear from the chairman, the spokesperson from the Independent Electoral Commission of Uganda? Are you learning some lessons from what has happened in the NRM primaries? Because they claim to be a mass party. They claim to be having, if I'm to go by what the chairman of the party was talking about, that they have 12 million voters who were registered during the NRM primaries. Okay. So what happened? The chaos that happened, the anomalies that played out. Are you picking some lessons from it as we head to the 2021 elections, and you are charged with the responsibility of organizing this election?
Yes, Timothy, of course, what's happening within political parties, we watch, we follow, we closely follow, because, you know, when parties present us with candidates, so the candidates that we eventually nominate, who go through the rest of the electoral process, are products of processes within parties or independent candidates for that matter. But in this case, of course, we have lessons to learn. First of all, you know, the parties are following our roadmap that we released. So how they've been able to fit into it and to undertake participatory processes, the challenges they faced, and of course now the COVID environment that we have, following the SOPs, the standard operating procedures that we issued, the compliance, the non-compliance that we saw, all those are lessons. And then of course the conduct of candidates, their supporters and agents, including the extreme behavior or as violence, like you would call it. So all these become lessons that how are you going to strengthen guidelines when you eventually nominate candidates, when you harmonize their campaign program, when you have control over them now as candidates under the Electoral Commission. So it becomes a time to really quickly learn and engage. For example, how is enforcement done? What are the factors that we've seen that can really damage the reputation of the credibility of the electoral process?
Outside there, and even Odongoto has already hinted about it, outside there the feel is that the 2021 election is already a predetermined election. The fact that one of the candidates moved out of his way and fired the Secretary of the Electoral Commission and other top officials who are actually organizing an election that he's supposed to participate in. What do you have to say about that? Is that a fear that Ugandans should take in?
Well, I don't think that there is something that should cause fear and alarm among Ugandans. Then why don't we declare him president elected already? Why is he going out to campaign? And why doesn't he score a 99% victory? So I think the election is up for, the positions are up for grabs. We organize the elections, that's why they are contesting. We have people participating in the elections. It's not our job now to go into the politics. The politicians can say what they want, but to the best of my knowledge, and Timothy have been involved in elections, I know that the elections are competed. Otherwise it would be a declaration for that matter. But I think what we learn as an electoral commission in this, and you asked me to talk about it, is that to ensure that we play our role, we guide the processes. We've already joined the chorus of all the people condemning the practices that derail the electoral processes, like violence. And I'm glad that the parties have also taken up at the highest level. There's been condemnation of violent behavior, non-compliance with the guidelines within the parties themselves, which of course are similar to ours, because the electoral rules are the same. We don't change so much. So I think there is a need for political leaders to rein on their supporters, to make sure that the electoral process is peaceful and the participation is safe, because we're in a COVID time.
So from the best of your knowledge is that the playing field is leveled?
Well, we create a playing field that is leveled for everyone. How do we do that? We open up the field for people to come in. We have 26 registered political parties. We have people who have participated in the elections are contested. There is no unopposed candidate at presidential level. I don't know what else it means, but when they go out as political players, then the politics comes in.
Odongoto, you are from the opposition. Is the playing field leveled for you guys, given what is happening?
It's a question of law. It boils down to the question, what President Museveni did, is it legal? It is legal. He has powers to appoint the commissioners. Is it right? It is not right, because he's a player. I'm going to compete against him. But I understand my colleague. That's the nature of his job. He has to make those kind of statements. It will actually be very unfortunate if he says the playing field is not level. He will be fired. But now that you are here, you will help me now. I've contested in 2001 elections, 2006, 2011, 2016.
And you've won.
I've won. So if someone wants my papers, the one I was nominated with in 2016, can you give them?
I think there is a process which you follow
because
to request
people are
for
asking
information.
for President 70.
Yeah.
And the Electoral Commission is saying they want something which
which was tendered into you.
No, I think what you're bringing is, you know, there's a law that governs access to information, and I think you're right to request for any documents that are in our possession through procedure. I think it's referring to one application that was made to us, which we are processing. We've not said no to the application, and I think, you know, we handled the first application, and the second application is also under process.
Can I hear from Honorable Freddie Bill? You sit with President Museveni and all the other Secretary Generals from different political parties in IPOD. What's your position? What has been your position when you meet Mr. Museveni? What has been your position in regard to the scientific election?
No, I think our views were challenged to the Electoral Commission. That's why they tried to change. We said it's not possible to conduct a scientific election. It is not possible because election is about the people. So either you have, we have an election or nothing at all, or we postpone the election. So the issue was we couldn't do what initially they wanted us to do. So as IPOD, we work by consensus. All the 5 parties, FPC, BM, and UPC, UP, and NRM, we have to agree whether the NRM didn't want it, it had to be the position of IPOD. So we say we need to meet the voters. We need to go for the rally. There is no way you can say we shall go talk over the radio, TV. That's not election. It's not possible.
You made your position.
Yes.
It was sent to the Electoral Commission.
Yes.
When you look at the way things are moving,
Yes.
does your position still stand, or does it still hold water, or does it been spiked into the dustbin?
But you can see the elections, how people move. Actually, rallies were conducted. People went out there, although they're saying that we breathe. But that's what election is all about. It's about emotion. It's about talking to the voters. It's about like convincing the voters. And the best way to convince voters is to meet them freely. So, and that's why we in IPOD say no, we cannot conduct campaigns over the radio, TV. It's not possible. So we believe we are going to go for the general election, knowing that we are going to full black.
So who's fooling who?
Yes.
You say that you gave your position to the president,
Yes.
and you were advised that that position be shared with the Electoral Commission. And
Actually, to correct you, we did. In IPOD, we met over the issue of playing field. We wanted, you see, the discussions in IPOD were different. It was before COVID, the last summit was in May. That was the last summit last year. But I'm talking of the IPOD Council now, of the Secretary General and the members of Council. We discussed issues to do with, after COVID, we discussed about how we're going to conduct these elections during this pandemic. That's where we say there is no way you can conduct elections without meeting the people.
now,
Yes.
without meeting the people.
Yes.
But can you weigh into that suggestion? Did IPOD share with you what Freddie Bill is talking about?
Well, we met, I know that we met stakeholders, and IPOD is one of the stakeholders we met when we resumed the electoral process to, you know, in a COVID responsive way. So with a revised roadmap, that is. But first of all, to remove all doubt, we are not organizing a scientific election. There's nothing like scientific election. We've never said it. We do not have any document in the Electoral Commission with any expression like scientific. We don't. We're organizing general elections.
Then where are these statements coming
We don't know
from?
where it comes from. We're organizing general elections in accordance with the Constitution. We have indicated, though, that there are some guidelines that have been modified to respond to the COVID environment. And we have advised, of course, also as a result of the consultative process, that we are going to use the processes that we have been using to, but minimizing, you know, of course, contact. And that means, you know, no public mass rallies, but regulated meetings. So what we've advised is what candidates have, or rather political players have always been using. Posters, flyers,
what was
radio,
TV. What was your input as the Electoral Commission when under the SOPs, when it was revealed that there will be no
public
mass rally?
mass gatherings are still banned, by public health regulations, which are in force up to now. Of course, people have gathered in big groups and big numbers. The warning has still rung out. The caution has still gone out that please do not assemble in such big numbers. What we've advised as the Electoral Commission is that, during the electoral process, we can do gatherings that we should be regulated, and as much as possible reduce or limit or avoid, putting people together in large numbers. And when we come to electoral processes, we social distance and things like that. So it has not worked out well in many cases. We've seen it, but we've also tried it out and it has worked. For example, in the special interest group elections we've had. But I know that elections are highly interactive. They can pose such a great risk for spread of COVID. So our warning still remains that please, as much as possible,
there will be no
do
rallies.
not do processions, and that's why they have been condemned. And I think whenever I've seen them, they've been described as a departure from what should be done to protect the candidates and then, of course, the supporters. So it's still a process, it's still a new guideline. It's not that easy to implement. There's learning to do. But to explain a little bit maybe about that in a minute, we've recommended that candidates should do what they've always done and minimize as much as possible contact. For example, using posters, banners, flyers, chizindalo.
Honorable Doctor, without rallies being made, processions being made, are you working in a viable, are you going to participate in a viable election? Is this an election or is it going to be a selection?
I think I participated in the parliamentary committee where the chairperson of the Electoral Commission was there in person. For me and many other MPs in opposition, we are of the opinion that election should be postponed for 6 months. The Constitution provides for that, to allow this COVID thing to get off the way. But when this NRM went to the caucus, they came back with, you don't know what happened to people there in the caucus. They came and changed, and they said they will go for elections. Now, as a political scientist, their calculation was one: get rid of Bobby Wine's rallies. Because if, in fact, as if God is on Museveni's side, if this corona, COVID was not there, a person like Bobby Wine would just walk to State House. The momentum, the force. So corona has now given people a very good excuse that if you gather many of you, they disperse you. But also, secondly, Ugandans have formed their minds on what corona is. People have made up their minds on what corona is. They know what to do, they know what they don't want to do. So there's going to be public rallies. Only that if you are not on the good books of certain people, you are rally. At parliamentary level, I can assure you there's going to be public rallies. That one, the people have already decided. I have left the constituents. I told them I have to comply with SOPs. They have refused. My opponents are addressing rallies. Big rallies, people are even climbing trees and singing and clapping their hands. So I think it is going to come at a price. I think the Electoral Commission has played their role there. That one we really have to be fair, because Parliament had powers to stop the elections. We did not. Now the Electoral Commissions are trying to comply with the regulations that the Ministry of Health has given. So the election is not going to be fair for people with momentum like Bobby Wine. It is going to be fair for a very elderly man like President Museveni, because I don't think he can move in 122 districts. So he has got a very reasonable excuse by virtue of his age to just sit there and say Corona. So because a campaign is very hectic. To move in 122 districts, your body can give way.
But in the just concluded election, they managed to move in around 113.
My friend.
113 districts.
Yeah, I'm saying it is advantageous if you can win elections without moving in those 120 districts. They're better, other than going for rallies. And I say it may be as if also God is on Museveni's side and NRM, this COVID thing. Other than saying there are no rallies, even those who are preaching defiance like Besigye, those who are forming alternative governments, were the ones going home at 6 p.m. because they were fearing the LDUs wielding batons.
So in other words,
so in position President
it's-
Museveni as a commander, if you don't go home by 6,
It's
you are going to see what will happen.
it's already a predetermined election.
Precisely, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah? You participated in the NRM primary. Did you hold rallies?
No, we hold the semi-rally.
What do you mean by semi-rallies?
Just like Honorable talked about, politics goes with
No,
highest level
can you
of
get back to the question? What do you mean by semi-rallies?
Semi-rallies, they have got both features of it's a meeting, it has a big gathering, you have a small loudspeaker.
I'm seeing you're having problems in explaining what the semi-rally was. Just tell us that was a rally.
Not really a rally, but you must have a modification. Much as you'd want to control people, but now they are moving. There's no way you're going to tell people, please, don't come, this is enough.
In other words, it was a defiant
Not really, not defiant.
campaign.
Of course, you can design. We supplied masks, for example. We had to put facilities for washing hands in the situations where we had about 500 people, 1,000 people. Of course, it would be very difficult to manage such a situation. And it's very difficult. The government is talking of...
Well, we do understand that some constituencies, some elections were put on hold.
Yeah.
We do understand that even those who participated, others are not yet announced. We do understand for a fact that today President Museveni was in Zimbabwe, one of the areas where elections were put on hold, to carry out some kind of arbitration before the electoral commission of the NRM
Very important.
conducts an election there.
Like any good
Odongo, what do you make of that arbitration that President Museveni went in Zimbabwe this evening?
The chairman, not the president. The chairman.
Of course, the two are inseparable. When you talk about Mr. Museveni,
No, you went
when you
there
talk about
as
the chairman of the NRM, at the same time, you are talking about the president. Because when he's in Zimbabwe, he enjoys all the presidency,
No?
the privileges that comes with that status.
I think in Zimbabwe, it's a little sensitive. I saw electrical materials being intercepted, a bicycle carrying sticks. They were saying those were part of the electro materials. At times I wonder what is in the mind of someone going to a forest, getting a panga, getting sticks of the same size, and they say these are the voting materials. I thank Uganda police. They managed to intercept those sticks. But I think from a more jurisprudential and philosophical perspective, Parliament seems to be too attractive. That the election is a matter of life and death. So something should be done. We should either devolve government and go what we call devolution of federalism, and we have more powerful regional government, or we need to reduce the salaries of members of parliament. Because it's too attractive. Everyone wants to come to parliament. All the musicians in Gulu, there, Bobby Wine, Bosmik, it's like parliament is now the only employment. It's like they're not helping our children with career guidance. You can also go to electoral commission and be a spokesperson. So the career guidance is failing. This parliamentary elections, the parliamentary position is too attractive. So something should be done to make it less attractive. And then the first thing is to reduce the pay. The second thing, maybe we need term limits for MPs. You cannot be an MP forever like me. I've now been there for 19 years, but at least me.
Why don't you?
The Speaker Katara came in 1993.
Why don't you move a private member's bill to that effect to amend those areas?
Yeah, but where will the private members' bill go? Because the first victim would be the Speaker of Parliament. There are people who came to Parliament in 1989, and they are still on affirmative action. So what I'm trying to say, we should create some limits, because Parliament is too attractive. I have 2 sons. One yesterday told me he wants to be the president. The other one said he wants to be an MP. No one is talking of being
A doctor.
A doctor. No one wants to be boda. No one wants to be an MD of National Water and Sewerage Corporation. So the center is too attractive.
Just tell them they should
And
wait
the debate has to be
until when the people of Aru run after you, then you leave the, the chair to them. Now, can I hear from, well, I do understand if I'm to go now to Honorable Freddie Bill. The court made a ruling. We are meant to understand from that ruling that since 2015, your president, Jimmy Akena, has been occupying that office of President General of UPC illegally, and the entire workforce of his. Do you still have the job? Does he still have the job?
Yeah, thank you very much, Timothy, and thank you very much, viewers. It's important to clarify this. Elections in Uganda, even political parties under the POA, are strictly, the term is 5 years. You get it? In our constitution of UPC also,
5 years.
it's 5 years. So 2015 elections, which was the Akena One administration, with different cabinet members, different administrators all over the country, who were appointed in 2015. That was the Akena One administration. The case was taken to court by Bosa, who died. Unfortunately, we're talking about somebody who took the case in court, who is no longer with us. Now, this case, which he won in High Court, according to the judgment of Justice Nyanzi, we appealed because we had already candidates who Justice Nyanzi had accepted us to work for about 2 months. We appealed because already we had nominated candidates because we saw the cost would be too high. So we appealed, and there was a stay of execution for 5 years for the full term. Until Court of Appeal came, the 3 justices came when we were now carrying out the delegate conference. Remember, we had a roadmap released by the cabinet, and we had the district conference conducted. Then we were going for the delegate conference. 3 days to the delegate conference, the judges continue confirming that Akena is still president. They say the status quo stays, but the delegate conference should not take place.
No, the ruling was made,
that was
made
the
on 2 grounds. One, the Electoral Commission of the UPC that declared Akena, in 2015 a president of the party, had no powers to do so.
I get what you're saying. You're saying the last ruling.
Yeah.
But there was an interim, there was an order given, which we never received before the delegate conference. But the order said Akena is still president. The status quo, as given by Justice Stephen Kavuma, stays as it is. But the only thing that the delegate conference should not take place. But already by the time the order came, which we had not received, the donors who had funded the delegate conference had already paid the hotels, everything. And the district conference, remember the election starts.
But the delegate conference was not fully constituted.
No, you get me right. The district conference had taken place already, which is itself, the process of election starts from there. Now, 3 days to elections, this ruling comes that Akena is still president, but the delegate conference should be halted. We do not receive the order. We wait for the order. Friday was a public holiday. We don't get it. We get it on Monday, yet the delegate conference took place on Saturday. So it is like a priest. You were a priest yesterday. You carried out a wedding. Then the Pope deflocks you. Or says you are no longer a priest. Does that marriage stand?
Literally, you are saying that you are not leaving.
No, the issue is, first of all, it was we are in the second term.
You are saying about the ruling. I want you to address yourself.
The ruling, yes, I'm getting the ruling.
You are not. You are saying that you are not leaving. You are legit there.
Yes, the ruling was for the first term.
I'm talking about this.
Yes, this ruling. Yes, it was for 2015, 2020.
It's null and void.
Yes, it was for 2015, 2020.
In your understanding.
I get it. It was for 2015, 2020. But now for 2020, 1st August 2020, you know, elections in UPC is at the delegate conference. The moment the delegate conference took place, that was the second election, and the swearing in takes place.
But it was not constituted.
It was not fully constituted.
Those are the grounds upon which
it was fully constituted, because these 3 judges had maintained him as president.
Can I hear from you, Honorable Domoto?
Yes.
Can I benefit from you?
I'm a lawyer, but those legalities of UPC I don't understand. What I want to ask.
Yes.
What I want to ask
yes.
my colleague Adil.
Yes.
Is UPC in a coalition government with NRM?
That's
because
not true.
a member of UPC is a cabinet minister. How do you see it there in IPOD? Are you in coalition with NRM? Is there any formal document to that effect? Because
there's no formal document.
So are you an opposition party, or you are in a party?
We are an opposition party.
You are in coalition with NRM?
We are an opposition party, my brother. And that one, you know it very well.
That's
why you see our members sit on your side. The party president sits on your side, is also a member of parliament. So the fact that you or NUP, like FDC asked us, they wrote to me, give me 2 shadow ministers. I gave them, Udur Jonathan and Honorable Joy Ongom. So if any party, even NUP tomorrow comes to government, they will ask UPC, because UPC has been in power twice. It has the most experienced politicians. So, in other words, any party which comes to government will seek.
So did NRM government ask you to give the name of Bete Mongin?
It was done by cabinet, yes. There was a request. And we gave them.
So
just like the leader of opposition requested me, and I gave them the 2 names.
So you have an MOU with NRM?
There is no MOU. When you request that I need these people to help me,
it's a
like the leader of
agreement.
opposition, and I give you 2 names.
So somewhere you have a gentleman's agreement with the NRM?
No, if you request me, I need this so-and-so to help me with work.
But there must be a basis.
Remember, this is national service. This is not, we are not working for...
Let's address our mind.
Yes.
Article 83 of
Yes.
the Constitution is clear
Yes.
on the circumstances under which
Yes.
a member of parliament can lose his seat.
Yes.
And one states, if you are elected under a party,
Yes.
and you change to another party.
Correct.
So I'm seeing a situation where a member elected under UPC, Honorable Bete Mongin, is now a cabinet minister.
Yes.
That one, to me, falls under the interpretation of losing a
But
seat.
in parliament...
Because the constituents elect you to be opposition. Then you come to parliament and join the ruling party.
The records in parliament, she's a UPC member of parliament, she's seeking re-election under UPC
But not
ticket,
a member of NRM.
and also NRM has put a candidate against her. She will win, she will come back under UPC. So what I don't want us, let us know that we are in this thing together. We differ in political ideologies, but our future is shared as
At Uganda House,
yes, please.
How are you treating the court ruling?
The court ruling, we are treating it normally because it is overtaken by events. First of all, it was for the last term. This is a new term with a new team. So unless they go to High Court and then they question the district conference, which is the starting point, by the way, or question even our roadmap, then the district conference, then they question the delegate conference, which was the real election of the president. And maybe that's when we shall be back.
Does it make sense for you
Yes,
that
please.
you run a party for 5 years?
Yes.
And you do not hold any kind of delegates conference? Does it make sense?
But
is that how parties
It's
are
not supposed to.
managed?
We are supposed to have twice in a term, delegate conference. But the circumstance that we found ourselves in, battling courts and all this, all the resources were going to the lawyers. So we couldn't really spend much money. We would really want to have because the constitution, our constitution says we should have it twice in a term. But at least we had it. We had one.
But I think UPC shouldn't be crying over money. You are more positioned than any other party in terms of having businesses that generate
Thank you very
for the
much.
party.
The
founding father of the nation
and
the founding father of UPC
It is true.
left a lot of business investments for the party.
That is true.
You are well aware with the Milton Obote Foundation MOF.
The properties I know in Mbale,
It's generating a lot of money.
Australia, I know it. Now the fact of the matter is,
What's the problem?
the same man who is trying to disturb us, in this, who wants to be actually installed by court. He has never been elected in any position in UPC. He wants to be installed No, I don't
You
want
are,
to
you are
mention
protected
names.
here. Feel at liberty to speak.
Okay,
Who is-
Peter Walubiri, who wants to be installed. He was nominated by the then party president, Mama Miria Obote, and even paid for. The money to go to MOF was paid for by Mama Miria Obote administration. When he went there, he turned the party projects, the party properties, to benefit himself. And he's using that very money to fight us in court. So what we are going to do as members, we are first of all going to take back our property.
You want to say that you have no
Yes.
access to more funds?
He has refused to give us the money. So we are saying we are coming for you now. We are coming for our property.
If I may help,
Yes.
Can we hear from you?
You have a very big role immediately after this election.
Yes.
Because you are the midwife of all the political parties in the eyes of the law. We register with you, we file returns with the Electoral Commission. Because the fights among the opposition parties is not only in UPC. UPC, there is UPC of...
There's no
this
UPC.
group.
There's one UPC.
There is UPC of this group. There was some of Dhaka. There is a group collecting
No,
rent.
that is about property.
There is a group what? That is UPC. DP, there is a DP of Mao. Now Mao has been left alone in the lane.
In the cold.
People in the cold. They did not even give him a blanket, even a wet blanket. The other boy is wet. Shoo! They are now in NAP. And in NAP they're saying they're coming back. Then there is FDC of Besije, and then Muntu and Wadri. Then there is NRM of Amama, of Museveni. I think we should pray in our lifetime that we see a transition of power from one party to another. That is when Ugandans will start appreciating the importance of multipartyism. As of now, it is still witch hunting. I give you an example. The leader of opposition in 1987 of UK, his plane had a technical fault and landed somewhere in West Africa in a local army base. So when the army came and they said, aha, this plane landed here illegally, who are you? He introduced himself, I'm the leader of opposition in UK. Immediately they arrested him, tied his hand, and they called government that we have got the person we have been looking for. Because they think the leader of opposition is an enemy of the state. Even here in our constituencies, the other time, I wrote a letter that I want to go and address the army in the barracks. They can't accept.
They had got, yes, Joseph Kony.
You called and they got it here.
Yeah, it shouldn't be like that, really. Yeah, people
Well, we are back on air from that short commercial break. Honorable Toh, you are still making some point?
So I'm saying the culture in Uganda should be that it should be normal for NRM to be in power, UPC to be in power, DP to be in power, without people going to the bush. Because all the past governments have been changed by guns. So people think if you are not in NRM, then you are subversive. You have a plan. But so that is not a normal situation.
for fun.
Exactly 8:45 p.m. East African Standard Time. Join me, Elijah, to Yagmanawe, putting focus on current affairs, be it political, social, or economic news. We shine a spotlight on our beautiful Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, providing information that is age-cutting here on STV with select news.
You're watching STV Select for Fun.
Well, thanks for that commercial break. Guys, we are back. Although you were still building points to do with the Kenyan politics, the evolution of multi-party politics, and but I understand much as you are giving Kenya as a precedent, we know that the politics of alliances does not apply. And even in Kenya, it has issues. Things to do with the same families of Jaramogi Odinga, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. Now we have the other, another created family of Mzee Arap Moi. Now you are seeing Ruto also now trying to create his own empire, fighting his way into that triangular setting that normally claims for leadership of power in Kenya. The precedent that you are trying to advance, isn't this so dangerous for Uganda's multi-party democracy?
Unfortunately, all the past presidents of Uganda have left office by gun. And those who are also in power, they are by gun. They only use the ballot to regularize it. But what we young people should pray to see in our lifetime is where one party hands over power to another party. That is the time where the military, the police will start to understand to respect political parties. In Kenya, there is a way the police behaves. If Raila wants to hold a big political meeting, the police protects, because you don't know who is going to be the president tomorrow. But in Uganda, if you are in opposition, you are seen as the enemy of government. For example, when Al-Shabaab killed Abiriga, they gave the NRM MPs escorts. For us, the enemies of the state, it's not important. So, today, if I join NRM, the response will be, he has been compromised, he has been bought. The other day I was stuck around, and Honorable Yerufonu gave me a lift. His car was yellow, even the X was yellow. I think even the fuel, even the fuel put inside was yellow. By the time I arrived around Parliament, people were saying, hey, how did you get there? You're going to be bought. That is the perception of the society. So we need to have it normal to leave or join a political party. But what should be done, it should be done on the table, not under the table. As the Baganda say, when the door is there. So like the alliance of UPC is under the table. We want to see a formal document. We want to see Jim Akana shaking hands with President Museveni that we're going to be working together
they are running
for the next 5 years.
Are you saying they are running a briefcase party?
So it is not good for the development of multipartism. And then still to the question you asked me where I'm going.
Yeah, where are you going? We want to know where do you stand?
Yeah. For me, I have now decided that I cannot be on the bench of FDC. It's like football. I would rather leave Barcelona and come and play in one Kulukuku here on KCC as long as I can be on the first team. In Barcelona, I would rather play in one Kulukuku here
weekly
as a striker, other than being a substitute on Barcelona.
Second 11, you can.
So I've decided. I left FDC. I am running under an opposition political party.
Yeah.
Me not telling you now is part of the card I'm playing in politics, so that I can easily.
But Odongo, I know he's a brave guy. He speaks his mind. Yeah. Why are you developing a cold feet?
No, it's not about braveness.
To speak out which party are you going to come in?
You see, braveness is not about drinking sulfuric acid and say you want to show people that you are very brave. It will erode your throats. For me, I'm saying I am standing under one of the opposition parties.
But
to come. No, FDC I have left. I have told them bye-bye. Yes. And you know, when you are driving a car, you don't focus on where the smoke is going. You have to look at the windscreen. Even the windscreen is bigger than the side mirrors. If you over-concentrate on the side mirrors, you're going to get an accident.
Yes.
So for me, I have left FDC. I have gone. Where I am going, it is now a subject of nomination, which this gentleman next to me here will see the form, the party which has stamped my form. But of course, not NRM. Yeah.
Well.
So, but I'm going to be on the first 11. Actually, I may even be assistant coach.
Yeah.
Other than being on Katebe, warm up. You see, it is 3 minutes to the end of the game, and you tell me to warm up. That is foolery. So I have left.
Well, Honorable, when you see a frog jumping in a broad daylight, you just get to know there's something against its life. I would like to know from you, what are the push factors that have made you leave FDC at this critical time when they needed you most?
Actually, I would even surprise you more. If FDC gets 10 MPs in the next election, they'll be very lucky. So they should now prepare. Actually, I see, if NAP does not win, I'm a political scientist. At parliamentary level, it is practically impossible. NRM will dominate the parliament. Yes. So, but there is a likelihood that someone can win the presidency without having a majority in parliament. And that one now lies in the docket of Bobby Wine. So, boiling down to your question, in a worst case scenario in the next election, you will see the leading opposition party being NAP. And FDC will now have to apply to NAP for cabinet position. So the whole thing is slipping off the hands of FDC. I'm not going to wait there. You can see. You see, in normal life, Timothy, when you see lizards running, birds running, giraffes running, especially now, the moment you see a giraffe running, don't ask why it is running. It is seeing very far. For me, I've been in the kitchen of FDC, inside the kitchen, and I've decided to abandon lunch even when the meat was already smelling. I know why. If for you in the gate you are saying, what is there? You may be the meal. So I have left, and please let me leave.
Well, I think
there is nothing cooking there. They will have like 10 MPs, and the leading opposition party will be NAP. So we may have a president without majority support in parliament.
Is this a position that you have discussed with your supporters in Aru? Because I do understand that your supporters have been, Aru has been a stronghold base of the FDC.
Yes.
I do not want you to suffer the repercussions that some of your colleagues in Kasese are facing. Those who are in FDC, they are running in circles.
I took FDC to Padel. I am FDC, and I left with the FDC mobilizers. So I think this gentleman next to me, you just wait to declare me the winner. Actually, my people were asking if they can vote now and you keep the elections and you just declare in January. Because they love me so much.
Of course, you know.
But I told them, wait, there is nomination day.
So, as we come to the end, as we come to the end of the show, I would like to just put one question to Paul from the Electoral Commission, from the Independent Electoral Commission of Uganda. The president came out this week and directed that you should buy an voting system. Could you please address us on that machine? Since when did President Museveni start directing the Electoral Commission to buy ABCD?
He's a participant.
And he's a participant.
Well, we've been using technology in the administration of elections, and in the last election we introduced the biometric voter verification system. So the president's statement is in line with the systems we are building and upgrading and taking to the next level. Because now you cannot avoid using technology in elections. It helps in identification, it helps to eliminate, multiple, someone registering more than once and even voting more than once. So it helps in, fighting duplicates and all that kind of system. So basically to identify the voter so that someone votes once and that's the system. So there's a structure that we've been building, which we are upgrading and, incorporating new technologies and all that. He was talking in that line. So it's very consistent with what the law that was amended provides for. It allows us to integrate technology into elections.
So are you assuring us that come 2021 elections, we shan't have the chaos that we saw in the NRM to do with voter registers and announcing wrong candidates?
Of course, we do not organize chaos. We do not organize chaos. We organize elections. And that's what we are going to organize. These people are aspiring to contest. We will prepare the register. We organize elections. The message we send out is that participate peacefully. Do not, create chaos. Do not confuse your own polling station. You are going to live together after the elections. Elections are taking place between the 10th of January and the 8th of February. After that, you are the same people. The places where the primaries have been, they stay in the same village. They are the same. They buy from the same shop. So our message is that, don't let these things divide you.
Okay, you have made your point. You have made
same mosque, everything.
You have made your point, Paul. As we move out of this place, you are parting what?
Yeah.
Make your parting statement.
I want to thank your viewers, Timothy. I want to thank you so much. The party NRM loves you so much. We are moving on. We want you.
But what you are not loved, they already rigged you.
No, we are still in the process. We hope by the end of a few 3 days, I hope to be declared as the winner for Biaga's constituency. I want to thank you so much for viewing.
And I wish you the best in your endeavors. Well, Otto, give your parting.
I'm glad to be here. I'm first of all surprised that the standard of broadcasts and journalism is very interesting. So my parting word is that I want to invite myself to be a panelist in this program. So it is up to you to consider. But I've invited myself.
We shall.
Uganda, let's stay calm. There's life after elections.
Sure.
This world is not going to end in January or February. Life will continue in a way or another.
The man who's organizing the most anticipated election, even on the African continent.
Yeah.
The first of its kind. The African continent, which is scientific.
Like I said, we're not organizing scientific elections, we're organizing gen elections. Please follow the modifications that have been put in place. We want you alive on polling day, before, during, and after polling day. So candidates, protect your supporters, and supporters, don't expose your candidate, that candidate you love so much, to the risk of getting COVID-19. Yeah, regulate your movements, follow the guidelines. Well,
Honorable Bill, give us your parting word and we'll close.
Yeah, as a member of National Task Force, I also want to reiterate what the spokesperson of Electoral Commission has said. We need to know that COVID-19 is still here with us. It's dangerous, it kills. Let us try to keep our distance
and wear face masks, and also ensure that we protect our population, because the health facilities, our health facilities cannot cope up with this pandemic if it goes beyond what it is now. If we try to, if we don't protect our people, we shall suffer more.
Well, thanks,
Yes.
thanks my colleagues for joining me on this talk show, The Race 2021. I'm your host, Timothy Sibasi, and to the viewers, remain calm and always keep the Ugandan hope alive. Bye-bye.
Hey guys, you're watching STV. Select for fun.